Okay, today we're going to go over the ACT Test 18A09, questions 1 through 8. So question 1, it's pretty straightforward. A line in the standard XY coordinate plane passes through points -2, -6, and 5, 3. The slope of the line. Okay, so what I do in every one of these situations is I always do a quick sketch of the XY coordinate plane and then a quick sketch of my 2 points. So the first one is -2, -6. So I go left 2, down 6. And the next point is 5, 3. So I go to the right 5, up 3. And then I connect to those 2 points. The advantage to that is I can get a quick visual of what my line looks like. So I can see here the slope is positive. Hey. What is the sum of the complex numbers 3 minus 4i and 5 plus 3i? Okay, with this, we just need to understand that complex numbers, like most numbers, you're going to combine like terms. So the 3 and the 5 can combine to give you 8, and the -4i and the positive 3i can combine to give you -i. And that is j. So a lot of times we'll get thrown off by i's thinking, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. It's okay if you don't know what you're doing. Treat the i's like any variable. You don't need to understand what a complex number is to be able to do this problem. Question 3. Last year at RT University, the ratio of the number of students accepted to the number of students applying for admissions was set 2 to 7. RT University accepted 630 students last year. How many students applied to the RT University last year? So this is a classic example of a ratio problem. So whenever you have a ratio problem, you're always going to do fraction equals fraction. And it really doesn't matter where you put things as long as similar things go in similar places, kind of like on the English test with your parallelism. So for example, we have a 2 to 7. So I'm going to put the 2 up here and a 7 down here. Now what do those numbers mean? Well, this is the ratio of the number of students accepted, so I'm going to put like a little ACC right there, to the number of students applying. I'm going to put an APP right there. Okay. RT University accepted 630 students last year. So I need to put 630 students right there. And then I want to know how many students applied to the university. So this will be my X right there. Okay, I have to double check that because every once in a while the test gets a little tricky and they could put something like how many students got rejected last year, in which case that number X wouldn't be the question it's asking for. But in this case it is. So anytime you have a fraction equals a fraction, you can cross multiply and get 2x equals 630 times 7. And then I can divide both sides by 2 and get x equals that big number. So get out my trusty calculator here and do 630 times 7 divided by 2, and the answer is 2205, which is C. Okay, question 4. 3 line segments intersect as shown in the figures below, forming angles with measures of 150 degrees, 40 degrees, and x degrees respectively. So we can see those there. What is the value of x? Okay, the solution to this, you have to remember that with angles, you need to remember the straight line is 180 degrees, and a triangle is also 180 degrees. Those are your 2 best friends when you're dealing with angles on the ACT. So with that, I can use this straight line right here and find that this 150 plus this left over has to total 180, which means that this is going to be 30 in here. Now I have my triangle, 40 and 30, and this unknown number. Well, 40 and 30 together make 70. So then this unknown number right here is 110. And since this is 110, it combines with this to also make 180. That makes this 70. So the answer is K. That also reminds you that there is that kind of lesser known rule where if you have a triangle and one of the lines continues onward, this is always going to be equal to this plus this. Right? As we see that, the 70 is the 40 plus the 30. And that makes sense because if these three together make 180 and these two make 180, then this plus this equals this plus this, then this has to equal that. Okay. A carnival game is played using an open box with a rectangular bottom measuring 6 by 13. A square with sides 4 inches is painted on the bottom of the box. The game is played by dropping a small bead into the open box. If the bead comes to rest in the painted square, the player wins a prize. Assuming the bead dropped into the box comes to rest at a random spot on the bottom of the box, which of the following is closest to the probability that the bead comes to rest in the painted square? So probability is always going to be what you want divided by the total, or what's possible. So in this case, what we want is that 4-inch square in the middle or somewhere in the bottom of the box. So we want is an area that's 4 by 4, or in other words, 16. Our total is the total area of the bottom of the box, which is 6 by 13. I don't know that off the top of my head. I'm just going to leave it like that. And then again, calculator. 16 divided by parentheses 6 times 13 and parentheses equals, my probability of winning is only about 20% or 21%. What is the slope-intercept form of 9x minus y minus 5 equals 0? Remember, for slope-intercept form, oh, there it is right there. We want y equals some number times x, some other number. So we have two options here. The one is you can subtract the 9x over and add the 5 over, and then you're left with negative y, so you would have to times everything by -1, or since y is already negative, I can just add y to both sides, and I'm left with 9x minus 5 equals y, which is the same as y equals 9x minus 5, h. The line below contains x, y, and z in that order. The ratio of the length of x, y to y, z is 5 to 9. If it can be determined, what is the ratio, x, y to y, z? Yep. If it can be determined, what is the ratio of the length x, y to the length x, z? Well, yeah. In this case, we know our x, y for sure is still going to be 5. But now we know our xz, if this is 5 and this is 9, then that's going to be a total of 14. And it is xy to xz, so it is 5 to 14, so it's A. The solution set of 2x plus 4 is greater than or equal to -8 is a set of all real numbers, all real values of x such that, okay, in this case, even though it's an inequality, we treat it for the most part like a regular equation. So the first thing I do is subtract 4 from both sides and get 2x is greater than or equal to -12. Divide both sides by 2 and get that x is greater than or equal to -6. And because I didn't multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, I didn't have to flip the sign. So I do get to sit with G. So that was questions 1 through 8 on Form 18A09. Thank you for watching the video. Remember to like and subscribe.